It's kind of ironic when it comes time for taxes that if you are late as a Canadian citizen, you get fined, right? A certain percentage of your amount owing, perhaps, whatever the case is. But when the federal government, the ones who do the taxes, when they're late, it's a bit of a double standard. They don't owe you any money. They don't owe you any IOUs or payments of some sorts or compensation for you're now allowed to be late and up to this amount, and that's kind of like a credit. No. Canada's taxing is very odd like that. And the reason why we're talking about this is because, well, there's a very big strike that involves thousands, dozens of thousands of Canadian Revenue Agency employees that are demanding for, I don't know, up to 47% raise over 3 years and permanent work from home and $17,000 education fund per person who works in the federal government. That's a whole other conversation for another video, which I've done several of. Welcome back to another video, everybody. I want to encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're doing a great job of combating mainstream media and combating government-funded media and even combating Justin Trudeau's YouTube channel, his brand new YouTube channel, just in time for Bill C-11. How convenient. We're this close to 300,000 subscribers. Nothing happens at that mark. It's just the closest rounded up to number, but with just inflation, it's only really 50,000 subscribers. Let's get into this video here. We're taking a look at an accountant talk about why it should be beneficial and almost obligatory, an obligation for the federal government to allow extensions for Canadians to pay their taxes due to this strike.
I was seeing the phone lines basically seeing up to 3-hour waits, right? And I was doing this for Canadians, doing this for low-income Canadians who just can't reach out to a knowledgeable accountant right now, right? And so they need the support, small business owners need the support, and the CRA isn't there to give it. I'm hoping there's an extension to the April 30th deadline. June 15th would align the deadline with all self-employed individuals in Canada. I think a reasonable extension could also be to extend the deadline for every day that there is a strike. And so either option would work really well for Canadians.
Amen, brother. Amen.
There's going to be penalties. There's going to be interest. Canadians just don't have the money for additional penalties. They barely have enough to pay the taxes that the government is putting in place. And so a 5% penalty plus every month an additional 1% just isn't going to be okay. Canadians need that extension so that they have the appropriate time to do their tax return with due care. And right now, the CRA agents just aren't there to help them.
It is absolutely absurd because your taxes need to be done by a certain time, and the people that are doing them aren't even there to do them. So it's kind of like a weird catch-22, if you will. But let's read the article and see what words have to say, since Trudeau's such a big fan of words. All right. Ottawa wants to automatically file taxes for low-income Canadians and perhaps eventually everyone. Well, I don't know how you feel about that, but personally, as a young 29-year-old who's had to navigate the world of taxes without ever being taught how to do that, like they don't teach you this in school, right? You go to high school, you go to elementary school, whatever, middle school, high school, college, university. No one teaches you how to do taxes unless you go to school to be an accountant, or even what a mortgage is, how to qualify for a mortgage, how to save, how to increase your credit score. Like no one in school teaches you that. Yet there you are, thrown into the world, the real world of adult, and it sucks because you got to figure everything out. So it's kind of weird that the government knows, if you're on payroll at least, exactly how much money you make. They know it. They're like, yeah, we know. We're not going to tell you, but we know. And you know that we know. But you got to do all the calculations and figure that out for yourself. So some people might actually be upset at the fact that the Canadian government wants to kind of automate taxes and make it just so that you just pay whatever it is, because then there could be errors, right? It's kind of like AI generated world that we're moving into. A lot of people are fearful of it. Personally, I think it's beneficial, but that's just me and my age and how I grew up, right? I don't think I've ever once done my own taxes personally. I had no idea how to do that. But let's read the article. It's okay to have different opinions too. If you're against this, if you think that automatic tax filing by the government is a bad thing, which of course, anytime the government gets involved, nothing ever goes wrong. Huh? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. But anyways, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that disagree and I think that this is a horrible idea. But that's okay. We can disagree on things. That is absolutely fine. Recent federal budget announced plans to automatically file taxes for millions of low-income earners. I'd love to know what you think, actually, before we continue. I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you think that this is good, or do you think that this is bad? Please let me know. I look forward to reading them once the video is posted. With Monday's deadline for Canadians to file their income taxes for 2022, experts say a new pilot program for the government to automate the process for low-income Canadians is a long overdue. Sorry, that's my baby screaming here, like trying to talk. I don't know if you can hear that. Canadians is a long overdue step on the road toward doing them automatically for everyone. Personally, though, as a 29-year-old, I think that this should have been the case from the start. It's absolutely absurd for the government to know how much I make, that for me have to figure that out by myself and then report that to the government when they've known the whole time. But difference of opinion, that's okay. In the recent federal budget, the government announced the creation and expansion of a couple of pilot programs aimed at getting millions of low-income Canadians to file their taxes and giving them access to benefit programs they are entitled to. The government says as many as 12% of Canadians don't file their taxes every year, most of whom are low-income Canadians. It's estimated that fillers missed out on more than 1.7 billion worth of government rebates and programs they were entitled to in the 2015 tax year alone. That's an insane amount of money. That is 1 month worth of donations to Ukraine. Yeah, if this was a comedy club, that would have gotten some laughs. To fix that, Ottawa is beefing up an existing program called File My Return that allows Canadians to file their tax returns by answering a series of simple questions over the telephone. The goal is to triple the uptake on that program to 2 million people annually. The government will also pilot a new automatic filing service for even more low-income Canadians, including many who would be entitled to government benefit programs like GST rebates and the Canada Child Benefit, were they to file. Well, that's pretty interesting. A better way. It may come as a surprise to Canadians scrambling to file their taxes this weekend, but the Canadian system, whereby the onus is on a tax filer to assemble their documentation and submit it to government for verification, is the exception, not the rule. Several dozen countries, including Slovenia, Norway, Denmark, Finland, Chile, Portugal, New Zealand, Australia, mate, already have systems that are largely automated. I once saw a photo circulating. I hope that it's real. It was either of Australia or New Zealand, where on their tax return, it had a actual a chart, like not a pie chart, but a graph chart, a breakdown of we spent the most amount of money at the bottom, right? Like 15% of your taxes went towards our military defense. Our military defense. 5% went towards roads. 3% went towards this, and they broke down all of the taxes. And I would just love to get my hands on that photo again. I hope it's real, but I really truly believe that more government transparency would be a big fat W for this country. I mean, people just don't trust the government. They don't trust the systems. And if you're going to automate something as sensitive as taxes, which I'm on the surface level kind of okay with. But again, that could just be me being naive and ignorant due to my age and experiences. And I'm a little bit more techie than I would like to admit. So I am kind of excited about that. But I understand full well the implications and the risk that brings. I'm not that stupid. I'm stupid. I'm not that stupid. Though they're all a bit different. In those places, filing taxes basically consists of governments filling out information on behalf of filers with what they know of their income and deductions, and then asking them about any other pertinent information that might reduce their tax burden. In some cases, the process takes minutes. Oh my God. Oh, I mean, if there is a successful blueprint that another first world country is doing, then it might be in our best interest to capitalize on that, copy paste their blueprint. And especially if the federal government is currently, like, if there's 30,000+ CRA employees asking up to 47% raise, this would be a phenomenal way for the federal government to be like, yeah, I don't think we need 30,000 federal CRA employees. I think we only need like 10 per province since it's all automated. Like, I don't know, but it could actually save the government a lot of money. But again, who cares for the government saving money when it just all goes to Ukraine and other weird places instead of putting that money back into our own economy? Yeah, it's just nonsense at this point. And we're probably going to reach a very large portion of ordinary middle-income Canadians who have fairly simple situations. But right now, we need to go through filing the whole return just because of those small steps of complexity in their returns. So there are some kinks to work out. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. That is the end of the video. I'd love to know again what your thoughts are on automating taxes. I again am going to double down and say right now in this given moment, I'm on board. But I will read through the comments, and if there's an overwhelming amount of them that can convince me that I am wrong, then I will take that into consideration and readjust my opinion accordingly. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching all the way till the end, and I'll see you in the next one.